Bible. On the seventh day, God rested in Genesis 1. There's 7 churches, there's 7 seals and 7 trumpets and 7 angels, 7 all throughout the Bible. And I believe there's going to be 70 jubilees. I believe the Lord is coming back soon. And that's the message. And that's why it's so important for people to, we don't need to live on the news, but we do need to realize what's going on around us. And, we've got the Iran deal that just went through that basically is a threat to Israel and America. And now Iran has going to get all these billions of dollars. We just made a deal with a terrorist nation. But when in the history of America did we ever make a deal with a terrorist nation? Iran's the biggest terrorist nation in the world. And they hate us. While they're sitting at the table making this deal, they're chanting on TV, "Death to America." And we just made a deal that's going to give them billions of dollars and allow them to have a nuclear bomb. And we've got 4 Americans sitting, rotting in their prisons, and our country let that happen. We never should have sat down at the table with those people. First thing they should have done was said, when you release our 4 Americans, we'll sit down and talk. But our 4 Americans are sitting in a jail. One of them is a preacher, and he's in the news all the time. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. This is what's going on in our country. What does it all mean? What it means is the whole world is spiraling towards something changing. Something's about to happen, and I believe that something is the Lord coming back and taking the church off of this earth, and the one world kingdom getting ready to be set up. So that's what the book's about. Folks can go to my website as well, godsfinaljubilee.com. They can see the book there. They can read the back cover. I'm not in this to make money, and but I want to get this out there, and so that's what my mission is in life, and that's what this book's about. I got another book coming out here in about a week or so, and I believe we're at the end of this thing.
Well, I agree with you. Our world's a mess. Probably out of selfishness, I want to hope that it's not over too soon. I still have a few more things I want to do, but when it is over, I'm ready. I'm prepared for that. And but Dan, I find it interesting when people talk about different things like this, the response of others. So my question is, do people stop you and ask you where you're getting your information from, or how can you be sure, or, do they treat you like you're from another planet? Are they following you? What does that side of the coin look like?
Oh, that side of the coin is good. Facebook is exploding. I'm getting there's people joining my Facebook page almost, every day. I've got a prophetic newsletter I put out once a week. You sign up for that on my website. That is growing. Dozens a day are getting on there. Now, there are your skeptics and scoffers and atheists and God haters. But the people who know the Lord, they've never heard that. They're jumping right online, and most of them are saying, "I've never heard this before." And you just tell them what the Bible says. You tell them what's going on in the world. It's like a light comes on. I said, "Boy, of course this is true. How come I didn't see this? How come my preacher doesn't preach this?" And that's a good question. How come the preachers are not warning their people that we're at the end of this thing? And no, I'm getting a tremendous response. When you tell people what's going on, the gay rights thing, the Supreme Court issue, now we've got the Planned Parenthood, and has been selling what they call tissue. They're selling little babies that they're murdering in the womb. They're selling body parts, and some of us have known for a long time that that's going on, and now it's been made public. The question is, does anybody care? Does anybody care we're killing 1 million babies a year now? Planned Parenthood, which isn't nothing about Planned Parenthood at all. It's about planned murder and making billions of dollars off selling these body parts. This is disgusting. This is evil, and it's about time that God's people woke up and realized what's going on down in the corner of their city in the Planned Parenthood clinic is murder and evil, and it's time that God's people stood up and said, "We'll not put up with this anymore." So I think there are some people waking up. I think it might be too late. I think America's gone. I think we're headed to the one world system, I think we've got serious things coming in the next few months, and I think we're going to be under martial law pretty soon, and that will be the end of America as you and I know it, and as our fathers and grandfathers knew America. Because this guy in the White House will never relinquish that power once martial law is declared. And, Congress basically goes home. They probably ought to go home anyway. Congress has done nothing. They have given this president every illegal thing that he has brought to them. They have given it to him. And the Supreme Court's right there, too. It's almost like, Tony, there's a power beyond America, and there is. It's almost like there's a power overshadowing Congress and pushing this thing down the road because the plan of God has got to come to pass, and it will come to pass, and that's where we're at today. So, yeah, I'm getting good response from people from the message, and I believe it's a message from God. Yes, there's scoffers. Yes, there's skeptics. Yes, there's people who criticize, but for the most part, when I get around Christian people and I start sharing some of this stuff, it's like a light comes on because they haven't heard these things. And it's like when you hear the truth and you know it's the truth, it's like a light comes on and you say, boy, that's right, I see that. And so that's what the Lord's doing, and that's what he's using me for in a small way. And we're getting out there, and I'm humbly thankful for that. And I just want to go out of here right with the Lord. I want to do what I'm supposed to do and prepare the people. And when the Lord comes, I want to be able to look at the Lord, and I want him to say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. That ought to be the prayer of all of us. We ought to want to do the will of God while we're here on this earth.
Well, Dan, I know that you're on a mission, and as always, it's good to have you on the show, and I hope you'll come back when the next book comes out. I want to make sure everybody knows to go to Heavenbound 1, spelled out O-N-E.
Either way works.
Yeah, heavenbound1.net, and connect with Dan and see about having them come to your area to speak in your local churches as well. Dan, we're out of time. I really appreciate you stopping in today and spending time with us and bringing your message to everyone out here and our listeners. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brother Tony. God bless you.
All right. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back with my second guest, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Jeff Rosenberg. And, he's from the New York area. Long Island is his place of birth. And, I always like talking to people from the Northeast. That's where I'm from. So we're going to take a commercial break. Make sure to, fill up your coffee. Get a piece of paper, take some notes, okay? You can call into the show, 347-989-1363. Let us know your feedback. You heard Evangelist Dan Goodwin, is the world coming to an end? I don't know. Does he make sense in a lot of things? I think so. But I don't know a lot of things, and we don't know what we don't know. But the truth of the matter is, if you can sit down and have a conversation with someone about it, it might help you to understand a little bit differently. You can learn more about Dan by going to heavenbound1.net. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that an estimated 52 million Americans listened to Internet radio in the last month? Or that weekly Internet radio audience has increased 60% over the last year, and that more than 8 in 10 people are online from any location? Tough Talk Radio Network is a company dedicated to providing a platform that allows opportunities for guests, hosts, and sponsors to market themselves to the Internet radio medium where they can be heard by millions. To find out how Tough Talk Radio Network can help you, go to toughtalkradionetwork.com.
Do you want to know the secret to building a successful business quickly? It's all about taking action, but not just any action. It takes inspired and consistent action to get profits. Join Michelle Sissom, the six-figure results lady, as she asks successful entrepreneurs their profitable secrets every Monday at 2 p.m. Central Time on Take Action, Get Profits with Michelle Sissom on the Tough Talk Radio Network. If you're ready to take action and get profits, you can find out more about the show at takeactiongetprofitsradio.com.
All right, welcome back to Tough Talk Christian Radio. My name is Tony Gambone. I'm your host every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And make sure if you want to call into the show, meet the guest, join the conversation, 347-989-1363. My next guest is Dr. Jeff Rosenberg, and he's the leading national board-certified chiropractor serving the New York area. He was born and raised in Long Island, New York, and he pursued his education across the country in Georgia, and has been practicing over 20 years. Now, you know, folks, my producer asked me, why is a chiropractor coming on a Christian radio show? And here is my answer. One, he's here to share the message, but I really believe that as a person, body is supposed to be taken care of first, right? We have to maintain ourselves in good physical and mental health before we could bring any message to anyone. So it always starts with us. So I'm excited about having Dr. Rosenberg on the show. Jeff, welcome to the show.
How you doing? That was an amazing introduction. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, you know, a lot of times, I'm gonna use myself as an example. You know, I've battled with Crohn's disease for 40 years, and so 40 years ago, they were kind of practicing on animals, and you know, there's still no cause or cure. But one of the things I learned along the way is what I could do by going to a chiropractor. And you know, back then it was more of bone cracking, and today it's a lot more advanced. It's opened up a lot of different fields. But one of the things that I learned is so many things really in your body work from the alignment of your body. So,
sure.
I mean, that's kind of the key to physical health, I think. It's just my own unprofessional opinion, but I think our brain and our body really determine how healthy or sick we want to be. So,
you're 100% correct.
Jeff, tell me your journey here. I know that you were born and raised in Long Island, so you grew up in New York. You've eaten some of the best food in the whole world. Went to Georgia, to college. How was that transition from, I'm asking this because I went from Philadelphia to Las Vegas to Mississippi to open up riverboat casinos. So there was a transition of culture, so to speak. How did that work for you?
Well, it was interesting because as a 20-year-old kid moving down south to Atlanta, my impression of Atlanta before I got there was, oh, well, it's a city, and it's going to be like New York City, except it's just going to be like a 3D holograph of what New York City is just down in Atlanta. And it wasn't like that. It was just a complete culture shock to me, food-wise, culture-wise, just the overall layout of the land down there was just a complete culture shock to me. I mean, I tried to get a bagel one day, and I thought I was eating a buttered roll. You know, pizza down there wasn't the same, and it was such a culture shock. Not only did I leave my physical house, but I left my emotional house too at the same time. It's like, you know, you're a 20-year-old kid. You know, I didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't know a lot back then. And it was just a really big change. But the beauty of that is that I guess you could say like I was a piece of marble that was unsculpted, and I was able to sculpt myself into who I am today based on learning what I know about chiropractic and the human body, and the fact that we're spiritual people living in a physical body, and we're surrounded by chemicals inside of us, both inside and outside, and good and bad. And I just learned how, you know, the body heals itself. So there's a lot of beauty in moving into a different culture and meeting new people from different parts of the United States. You know, I thought everybody was all the same until I met people from Mississippi or Arkansas or North Dakota. So it was an experience, and I wouldn't trade it in for anything in the world.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of, like I said, you know, I was born and raised in the Philadelphia area, and went to dealing school in Atlantic City when they opened up the casinos, and spent 20 years in the gaming industry in Las Vegas and throughout the South. And I live in Houston now, which is a major city But when I was coming here to Houston, I thought I was going to